Chapter 1: The Creation of Modern War. The year is 2050. The world is frozen over, and technology has become nothing more than a fossil of the past. Food, water, and supplies are scarce, and humanity wasn't well equipped to deal with these changes. As a result, the only way for most men to gather these supplies is to have a fight to the death with the only weapon they now have: snow. The winner takes all, while the loser freezes to death. Here, the two men begin to follow the tradition of modern war. They remain silent, not saying a word to each other, while they build their forts. Building forts has become quite time-consuming, as the snow quantity continues to grow with each passing day. Remaining quiet, the two groups attempt to get their forts as strong as possible, in a mild attempt to weaken the attack of their rivals. Here, one man has added a wall in front of his fort, while the other chooses a more simple route, deciding only to have one wall of defense. Having finished his fort, the one man decides to set up, along with his rival, for the men now know that the inevitable is about to begin. Chapter 2: The Initial Clash. Keeping with tradition, the two men walk slowly to the middle of the battlefield and bow at each other. Immediately afterwards, the two race back to their forts, hoping to gain the advantage of time over their rival. Now is where the fun part begins: the battle of strength, intellect, and luck. The two men have one goal: to be the one that walks away at the end of the day. Here is a perfect example of how hard it is to create something as simple as a snowball in these dark times. One must use the little water he has in his jug, and pray that with each snowball he throws, the closer it will get to his success. The first snowball is thrown. It misses its target, surely causing regret. Having just finished his snowballs, the enemy makes his first strike. It misses, but with quick timing he manages to be the first to hit his enemy. The battle is now in full swing. The two continue to strike each other with all the strength they have, a seemingly never-ending back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, each praying that they will be able to walk away from this alive. But as time ticks on, the two come to realize that the possibility that this is their final fight continues to grow and grow and grow. Yet the two push through their fears, knowing that giving in shall surely give the enemy the advantage they are looking for. They continue to fight, looking for the right moment to strike, while trying to avoid being struck by the projectiles being thrown by the enemy. The battle has now begun to take its toll on the two opposing sides. This is fairly common, especially as more time passes. Despite this, they move beyond the cold, knowing that slowing down will show the enemy an easily exploitable weakness. The fight continues on for hours and hours, with no end in sight. The day grows darker, as night slowly becomes the setting for this ongoing war. Desperate for snow, one man begins to dig out his own fort, gathering as much snow as he can. Water is quickly draining away, as more and more snowballs are made, and more of them miss. He once again strikes, but only adds to the number of close calls. Gathering all the snow he can, the enemy quickly throws another snowball, but only succeeds in failure. Another snowball is thrown, and much like the others, it misses its target completely. Thus the cycle of war continues, with an end looking more and more unlikely. Chapter 3: The Calm Before the Storm. After hours of fighting, the two men took a small break to recover the little energy they have. This never stops the fighting though, as each man attempts to strike their rival in their time of weakness. This serves as a reminder to these men for what they're fighting for: the chance to make it to another day. Going through his bag, the one man finds the place where he stores his food and begins to eat. The enemy also enjoys these brief seconds of peace. But brief they are. The enemy takes his snowball and attempts to strike the enemy. He misses, and only succeeds in getting the attention of his rival, who retaliates. Getting cocky, the man on the right slowly returns to ducking, only to be struck by the enemy. But it's not enough to end the war. However, the man on the left has been building a secret weapon, and is about to add the final touches to what could possibly end the war and make him the winner. Chapter 4: The Rise of One, the Fall of Another. Having finished his secret weapon, the one man makes the ultimate gamble and throws it onto the battlefield. Success! It looks as if he has finally finished his never-ending war. He gets up and goes to see whether or not the enemy is still alive. The surviving man lightly kicks the man. He doesn't move. Deciding that he has died, the survivor takes his things and begins to leave. Wait! Look! The enemy is still alive! Taking advantage of the moment, the enemy runs behind his rival and strikes him in the back. Success! The man falls to his death and drops the supplies he had onto the ground. His rival just stands there looking at the corpse of the man that he'd been fighting for what now seemed like an eternity. Having ended the battle, the winner takes both his stuff and the stuff of the fallen man. He walks away, knowing that one day he too shall end up like his rival. That one day he will lay there on the ground unable to move, and that one day he shall forever be forgotten, having faded into the snow like those before him.